Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading room, the start of another Rabbit Hole Friday going into the weekend. Fridays lately, we've been trying to focus on different trading tools, different indicators, and so on. Today, I've got two things I want to focus on. Earlier in the week, Ray requested if we could do a little bit more of a deep dive here into the new trade calculator for Ninja 8. The trade calculator, the tool that is replacing the trade manager, and it does pretty much everything the trade manager does except auto trail your stops. And we're going to be looking at ATM strategies in the future, but right now we're going to take a look at the trade calculator. And after we're done with the trade calculator, I'm going to show you a nifty indicator that may help you see which way the market is likely to go next. All right, so the trade calculator sits on your chart, and like you can see, you can drag it around wherever you like. The trade calculator is turned off by default. To turn it on, you would click the disabled tab, the yellow tab here, and you will see that by default it will go to the risk parameters for your trade. If you click it again, you can limit your position size. So you have your risk, well, you have your off button, you have your risk percent mode, and then you have your manual mode. How do you change these position sizes? Because you can see by default it's set at 2.5%. Well, you can change it either by going into the indicator panel and changing the parameters there, or by hovering over the yellow tab and rolling your mouse wheel. And you can see how now by rolling it up, I'm increasing my position size, and it gets to a point where my position size changes automatically from 1 to 2 contracts. And if I can keep rolling, and I can do the reverse, I can roll it down. If I don't like the initial position size, I can reduce that as well. Likewise, if we go to the fixed size, the manual mode, if we roll through this, you can see you can increase your position size as well very quickly. The next tab is your default stop strategy. This is going to be used to calculate your position size relative to the risk that you're about to place in the trade. And here too, you can toggle through it. You have a choice of selecting an indicator. You can select a horizontal line, or you can just set a preset stop amount. Here too, you can adjust your parameters. The default stop for the ATR is, you can see 3.5. If you want to make it tighter, you hover your mouse over the parameters here, and then you can roll it down. And watch what happens with the stops as I roll the wheel. You can see that the stops are getting progressively closer. And then likewise, as I roll the wheel the other way, watch the stops here. They're going to get a little further and further away. The whole time, however, it maintains your risk cap. It's a little bit difficult to see here, but the risk right now says for this trade, if I were to buy right here and place my stop loss right down here, I'm risking $220. And eventually you're going to reach a point where your stop will no longer display. Oh, well, sorry, it does display down there, but now you're outside of your risk parameters. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, let's roll that back here a little bit. All right, so right now in the NASDAQ, like I said, I can take this trade. I've capped my risk. My risk will never exceed $250. And at the moment, if I were to short it, it looks like I would actually have $165 at risk if I were going with the ATR stop. Now, the nice thing about the trade calculator versus the trade manager is that you can actually select any kind of indicator that will plot on your chart as your stop loss. In order to do this, you need to go into your indicator panel and you need to select what it is you would like to be your stop loss. Now, this is an indicator that needs to plot on the chart. So, you know what I'm going to do is, because things are going to get just a little bit too blue here, let's move to a different chart. Let's do it here on the Falcon. All right, so I'm going to select an indicator. Let's go with Bollinger's because they're handy. They're right here. Just the default Bollinger. Okay, so there's the Bollinger Band. Okay, come on. All right. Lego. There we go. For some reason, I thought they plotted blue, not yellow. At any rate. So we're going to turn the trade calculator on. We're going to go here to stop on indicator. Okay, and you're going to get the little warning here that no indicator plot has been selected. To select your indicator as your stop loss, we're going to hold the shift key and click on the indicator. And now you can see the trade calculator has set the stop on the Bollinger Band. You can click anywhere on your chart to deactivate that indicator. Now, you can see that currently it's plotting down here because it's looking for a sell. If I reverse it, oh no, sorry, here we go. Yeah, okay, Bollinger's might have been a bad one to choose for the first example because we've got dual lines on the Bollinger. Here, let's select a different one. Let's select one that might be a little bit easier to follow. Oh, I know, here, let's just do a EMA. And let's say we're going to set it at, I don't know, 100. 100 period exponential moving average. Oops, did I break it? All right. All right, so this thin yellow line that's plotting here, this is our 100 period exponential. So once again, we're going to turn the trade manager on. We're going to click to select the indicator as our stop. We're going to hold the shift key and click on that. And when you let go of your shift key, it will select the EMA as your stop loss. Now, what the trade calculator will do is you can see if I'm looking to buy, the market is currently underneath the EMA, right? It's underneath this thin line. Well, it will actually calculate where it is, where price is relative to the EMA, and keep that distance on the correct side of the trade. That's a convoluted way of saying your stops will never show up on the wrong side of the market. So if you're trying to buy, your stops will always be below. If you're trying to sell, your stops will always be above. So even though, see, if I were looking to try to buy, doggone it, market, you're not cooperating here. I'm trying to show something, and the stupid market is trading right around the EMA. All right, looks like it may start to get a little further away from there. Okay, but you can see if I were trying to buy, it's keeping the distance the same from the exponential moving average. And this is becoming quite annoying because it's not allowing me to show you what it is I'm trying to show you. Just know that you can select any indicator and use it as your stop loss. Any indicator. So you can scroll through your indicator here, any indicator which you can plot on the chart. It has to be on the chart, not in the window below. So that means things like Bollinger's. You could use Camarilla pivots. You could use double exponential moving averages, and so on. You know, the whole moving average we just passed, EMAs. You can, like I said, there is a plethora of indicators you can use. You can use chandeliers, ATRs, anything that will plot pivots, anything that will plot on your chart, you can turn into a stop loss. You also have the option of using a horizontal line. Let me get rid of that because it's annoying the heck out of me. So your horizontal line, you can find here under your drawing tools. And the shortcut for the horizontal line is your F6 key. So let's say you were looking to buy, you wanted your stops down here. You could select horizontal line, and you can see your stop has picked up the horizontal line. Now you're probably wondering, well, Eric, where's the stop? It's way up there. It's because it's currently in sell. If I hover the mouse over the buy, you can see where the stop plots down here at the horizontal line. And it will move with the horizontal line and constantly adjust your position size. So as I bring it closer, you can see how the position size changes. Pretty cool. I really like that feature. And then, of course, you can go just with a preset tick amount. Now, this will always be from the current price. So you can see it's always dragging right now 20 ticks from whatever the market price is. And here too, you can adjust the value by hovering and turning the wheel on your mouse and increase or decrease the number of ticks. Your buy market button and your sell market buttons, you'll see that the trade calculator automatically changes your position relative to which button you are hovering on. So if we're over the buy, we get the buy display. If we're over the sell, we get the sell and our stops behaving appropriately, however it is that we are looking to enter a position. If you hover over the buy button, you can see by default it is set at market. If you roll your wheel, you have the option of a stop order as well as a limit order. Likewise, with the sell market button, if you hover over this, you have the option of a stop order or a limit order. What is the difference, you ask? Well, a stop order, let's go to the sell stop. A stop order is a type of order that you set and you make the market trade through it. A stop order is not activated. Here, I'll activate the order here. So the stop order, which is this order down here, is not activated unless the market actually trades through here. A market order is activated immediately when you place the order. All right, so if I went to market, you can see that the market order hovers on the current price. So if I click sell, the trade calculator fills my positions relative to my risk amount, gives me my stop loss, gives me my profit target, and it brings me in wherever the current market price was. All right, so there's your stop order and market orders. Limit orders. Limit orders are placed when you expect the market to come back to you. Remember how in the trading room, very often I will point out we have a trading range. There's selling going on up here. There's buying going on down here. One strategy to trade within a trading range is to place a sell order near the highs and place a buy order near the lows. The order you need to use to accomplish that is a limit order. A limit order limits the price that you are willing to pay. So let's say you want to place a limit order at $75.99. Well, with the trade calculator, you can preset your limit. I think right now I've preset it at 10 ticks from the current price. So you could watch it, you could let it get up here, and when the market started to get within that region where you thought you might like to place a limit order, then you can select sell limit. And likewise, here on the buy side, if the market slips down here toward the lows, and I'm thinking it's still in a trading range, it's going to bounce higher, I can select the buy limit. If you don't want to wait, you can actually just turn off your trade calculator and you can manually select a limit order by right-clicking on your chart. Okay, so it looks like they're going to get up here. We've got our sell limit order. You can see where the order is displayed. And as it gets a little bit higher, you know what? This is a demo. Let's throw it up there. Now remember, your orders are all live when you put them on your chart. So I'm making a note here of where my profit target is, and I'm going to roll that out of the way for now. And we'll see whether or not the market actually gets high enough to engage our sell order. All right, well, it looks like they're not going to do that. They're going to head lower. Frank, I just saw your question here. Frank's asking, can you show how to select the chandelier? Absolutely, Frank. So you go to your indicators, and we are going to select the chandelier. Is that the one I want, or is this the one I want? Well, here, let's find out. So I've selected chandelier. I'm going to apply it. Click OK, and all right, here we go. All right, so okay, that wasn't the one. Let's try the other one. Go back to the indicator. I know I did ask Ben to put it in here. Hmm. That is odd. You can see you can impose visual stops, and I'll show you here in a moment. We've got the ATR and the chandelier. So these red and magenta lines, these are the chandelier. Here on the Raptor and on the Eagle, these are the ATR. So if I go to my indicator window, see there they are right there. IW Trail Stop ATR. So these are your chandelier lines. Why is it not recognizing it as an indicator? Oh, let's try turning it on first. Duh. Oh my gosh, Eric. Okay, Frank, first thing you got to do is turn it on. Oh, man. Is it Friday? It's been a long week. What can I say? Okay, so first, turn your trade manager on. Then you can select your chandelier strategy. Oh my gosh. And to imagine this is recorded and going to be posted on YouTube for everyone to see. Yeah, okay, that's what you got to do. It will select it, obviously. So you select your chandelier stop via the tab here. So you go to your indicator, hold your shift key, remember to hold your shift key, and then select your indicator, and it will select your chandelier stop. Wow, that was crazy. Okay, Frank's got another good question here about the trade calculator, asking how does it connect to your account? I should have actually invited Ben into the room here this morning because he's the one who put this together, but let's take a look here at the parameters. So these now your trade calculator parameters. You can select, oh yes, so it does ping your account. You can select your account right here. This is where you would enter your account as well. This is where you can preset how far you want your limit orders or stop orders away from the current market price. And you can see if you hover over any of these features, you will get the little pop-up window telling you what it does. This is where you can preset your risk parameters. If you don't like your risk being preset at 2.5%, you can set it here. You can also manually set your account balance here. If you're concerned that you're going to get too heavily leveraged in a position, if the trade calculator, if you enter a trade too quickly and all of a sudden you find yourself in a position with 6 contracts and you're thinking, oh no, I didn't want to do 6 contracts. This is where you can cap your max contracts, right? So if you never want to take more than, say, 3 contracts in a trade, this is where you can cap it. Here is the horizontal line tag. And what that means is you can select other horizontal lines. If you have multiple lines on your chart, the trade calculator may get confused which line it is that you want to feature. So to get around that, we'll just let it catch up here for a second. All right, here we go. So let's say we have our horizontal line plotted right here, and we have another horizontal line plotted right here. How can we tell trade calculator we want to feature this line, not this line up here? Well, we do that by right-clicking on the chart, going down here to the properties window, and now we can give the horizontal line a different name. So we can call it horizontal or hors2. And then just click apply. And then when we go back to the trade calculator, we can select hors2 as the line we want the trade calculator to focus on. All right, so if you're plotting, like I say, multiple lines on your chart, this is the way that you can make the trade calculator differentiate between them. Your initial stops on ticks, I always like to have a higher value here. The reason being is you can always bring your stops in tighter. But sometimes if the market's moving really, really fast, you can be in a bit of a panic to try to get your stops out of the way. So, don't be shy about making that a little bit broader. This is also where you can initially set your ATR values. Targets. Now, I'm a big fan of taking profit on target. In fact, Olu's asking, is it better to, he's using the trade manager, is it better to use your click or tick targets? I prefer tick targets. Click targets means that you will manually enter your profit objective. I'm a big fan of having my targets preset. Now, the trade calculator gives you the added feature. You can set your profit target as a risk multiple. So in other words, if you want to have a positive risk reward ratio, or I guess reward to risk ratio, you can preset, or the trade calculator will set your profit target relative to your risk. So this is a unique feature to the trade calculator. It's actually kind of cool. When in doubt, ticks are a good way to go. And my all-in, all-out profit target for the Falcon, as for the Raptor, would be $100 per contract. Here in the NASDAQ, it's trading at $5 a tick, so that would be a 20-tick target. But you can see you can establish up to 3 profit objectives. So I could have a 20-tick target, I could set another one at 30 and say another one at 50. I'm going to change now here to the risk multiple just so that you can see how that works on the trade calculator. And you can see my target 1 is 1.5 times my risk. My target 2 is 3.25 times my risk. And then my target 1 this is how it's going to exit my position. It's going to take half my position at target 1 and a third of my position at target 2. And if there's anything left, it will take it off at target 3. In this case, target 3 is set at 0, so it is going to be a runner. The rest of the trade calculator, you really don't need to worry about. It's all visual and kind of preset how it displays, how it works. But let's take a look here at the risk percent mode. Like I said, if you're someone who likes to use risk reward as a basis for establishing your profit objective, come on, catch up. Come on. There we go. All right, let's clean up the chart here a little bit. Okay, so turn your trade calculator on. All right now it is going to be in the risk percent mode. So if I were, let's scrunch up the chart here a little bit so you can see the profit targets. That profit target that you see above there is 1.5 times the risk, because that's what the preset was. If let's say I increase my position size to 3 contracts, you can see I'm displaying 2 profit targets now, target 1, target 2. with and the first target is 1.5 times my risk. And my second target is 3.25 times my risk. So it's kind of an interesting feature. It's not one that I use very often. I prefer, for me personally, I prefer taking profit on target. But the option is there if you want to set like a 2-to-1 reward to risk or a 3-to-1 reward to risk. If you want to preset that, well, you have the option. Again, the nice thing with the trade calculator, these orders are live the moment you put them on your chart. So if you don't like the way they are, you can adjust them, right? You can move them about as needed. If you wanted a tighter profit target, you can adjust those. If you wanted a broader stop, you can adjust that as well. So that is a nice feature of the trade calculator, is that, like I said, the orders are live, so you can adjust them as necessary. All right. So that's the trade calculator in a nutshell. I encourage you to play with it. Go into sim mode, try the different features. Don't worry, if you break it, I'll get Ben to fix it. But that's the way that you're going to become more proficient with it. Likewise, if you're using the trade manager on Ninja 7, don't be afraid to use it. Play with it. Experiment with the different settings. See what they do. Just make sure you're in sim mode when you do that. All right, any other questions before we dive into our rabbit hole indicator of the day? If you're a hunt and peck typist, I'll give you a moment. Okay, thanks, Ray. Ray says that was great. Like I said, feel free to experiment. If you hit a snag or something, just shoot me an email or ask here in the room. All right, here we go. Down the rabbit hole. Here, we'll stay with the Falcon today. Where's my always on top? There it is. If you go to your NinjaTrader and you select your Superdome, the dynamic Superdome is the one that you want. And I'm going to show you a couple things here about the Superdome. The Superdome allows you to see the order flow. And it's very enticing. You can actually order off your Superdome as well. You can place orders here to buy or sell. People like watching the Superdome because they think that they can see which way the market is leaning. If there is, let's say all of a sudden 100 orders show up here, that would lead people to believe that there are more buyers and therefore there's buyers hiding in the wings. People know something that I don't know, and therefore the market's going to chew its way higher to get into these orders. Likewise here on the short side, if all of a sudden this changed to 250, it would make traders believe that all of a sudden there was huge selling to the short side, and that the market would head lower from there. That is referred to as spoofing, and traders aren't supposed to do that anymore because they could fool too many. The big traders could fool all these little traders into thinking which way the market was moving next. What most traders don't know is that this is just the first level of orders, what you see here. There is actually a second level of orders called the level 2. And to get your level 2, you once again here go to your NinjaTrader, you select new, and you go down here to level 2. Level 2, if you may not get it on your current data feed, it is something that you have to subscribe to. It's not that expensive to pick up the level 2 data. The level 2 data is infinitely more helpful than the Superdome. The Superdome will drive you crazy. The level 2, however, this is kind of the professional level. This is the level that you see the pros trading at. There's actually a third level, which I don't know if NinjaTrader offers a level 3. Level 3 is kind of where the banks, well, a lot of banks are hovering at the level 2 as well. But there is a third level, and I don't believe NinjaTrader offers the data for level 3. It's very difficult to acquire, and honestly, I'm not sure how helpful it is. But the level 2 can be very helpful. Now, for those of you trading the Forex, you won't get a level 2 on the Forex, but here's a little bit of a cheat. Let's say you're trading the Euro-US dollar pair. That's the exact same market as the 6E futures market. So you could be watching the level 2 on the 6E. If you're trading the British pound US dollar pair, that's the exact same market as the 6B, the British pound futures market. If you're trading the yen US dollar pair, that's the exact same market as the 6J. You see where I'm going with this? So you can actually have this little bit of a window on the Forex market by spying on the futures market. Trust me, the Forex market will not go anywhere that the futures market does not go, and vice versa. All right, so how do you read now the level 2 data? NinjaTrader actually, they get top marks for this because often level 2 data looks like this. NinjaTrader went a step further and gave you this little graphic. Otherwise, you would be looking at your level 2 data and your mind would be going numb looking at these numbers to see which way the numbers are leaning. With the NinjaTrader, however, we have this nifty little graphic, and on the right side of the graphic, it shows us the buyers. On the left side of the graphic, it shows us the sellers. Now, most times, if you're following this, especially the way the market has been the last couple of weeks, it will seem fairly balanced. But every once in a while, you're going to see a spike and the market kind of leaning one way or the other. And that's going to give you an early indication that maybe the buyers are getting stronger. Oh, you see here how we're kind of getting this buy spike and everything got really, really thin? Okay, it didn't last. We'll hang with it here for a little bit, but you'll recognize it when you see it. Because these values all plot relative to each other, if all of a sudden the level 2 graphic becomes relatively thin and there's a big spike on the right side or the left side, that tells you, and you'll be able to follow the numbers here as well, that will tell you that there is an inordinate amount of buying or selling trying to make its way through the market. Like I said, for the most part, when the market is relatively neutral, as it is right now, you're just going to see the indicator bouncing back and forth. But I guarantee you that, let's say this portion right here where the market started to pick up a bit of a rally, that the market was definitely leaning here toward the buy side. And you would have seen some heavy buy orders come in, probably to the tune of, low hundreds, high 70s to low hundreds. What it does is it just kind of tips the market's hand a little bit. And if you're already in a position, you can see which way the market may be leaning. It's a way to peek behind the curtain. I know I'm struggling for analogies here. But this is the heartbeat of the marketplace, if you will. Okay, well, we're waiting on this to perhaps, see how it's leaning? We've got like 78 orders, 80 orders trying to make its way through. Okay, it didn't last. Oh, there they are again. So if I were to short here, I need to see some selling show up. Otherwise, it looks as though some buyers are maybe trying to make their way through the market. See here now are those. If the orders disappear, it doesn't count. But when you see those orders spikes develop and stay there, then you know the market's going to go that direction. All right, we'll just park this down here for now. And Frank has a quick question about the trade calculator. And let's go back to that. He's asking, how do you select your account in the trade calculator? Okay, well, it will go back to your accounts on that you have registered with your NinjaTrader. Hold on. Stop it. Oh, it's not allowing me to move the control panel because this window is open. But you would select from here, and it will display your account. So your account that's in your control panel, your numbered account will be here, and you would select it from that. You can also manually enter your account balance here. So here, when you go to your accounts, shoot, I forgot. Is it under options that you enter your account now? Well, at any rate, once your account is listed, that is how you would go about selecting it. I forget how they do it now on Ninja 8. Okay, let's go back here to the level 2 just really quick. All right, we're leaning a little bit. I'm not, totally convinced here. We had some, the highest number I think was pushing around 40. Not really something to get all that excited about. See, down here we're kind of pushing around 40. And again, these numbers are relative to each other. But every once in a while, especially on these bigger moves, you will see the market lean heavily. Well, no, we're not even an hour in the day. It's a little bit quiet even for a Friday. But there will be times, like I said, you'll all of a sudden see 80, 90, 100 orders pile up, which is a lot for the NASDAQ. Now, this is relative, right? You're going to have to spend a little bit of time watching it. If you're trading the E-mini, if you're trading crude oil, they're all going to behave a little bit differently. But for the NASDAQ, if somebody's trying to push 100 orders through, that's a lot. And I will look to stack my position relative to what's coming down the pipe. Right? I don't want to fight it. So if all of a sudden I see some bank, if I see Citibank trying to lay 100 orders in the NASDAQ to buy, well, why would I try to short? Now, we don't know the players here. I think in the level 3 you can actually see the players, the banks, who's trying to do what. But it's enough to know that these are the big traders, these are the institutions, and they don't like to be wrong. They're not wrong a lot. Like I say, it's a little bit of almost like a pulse on the market, and most of the times you're going to look at it, it's just going to do this kind of stuff, just the back and forth. And that translates to what's going on here on the chart as well. But when we saw the market head lower and there was that little bit of a buy spike here, the follow through was not there, was it? Yeah, we trickled down a little bit, maybe enough to scalp, but other than that, it didn't go anywhere. Okay, we're leaning a little bit here. There was an order for 45 trying to go through. They're not getting very high though. I imagine they're just going to keep bouncing back and forth here. Ooh, here we go. We're leaning a little bit. There was I think, a 55 or 57 trying to come through. All right, so here now we have our trend change signal. And it looked to me as though maybe the market's leaning a little bit to the short side. So I'm going to throw my stop order in. If it gets down below these lows, it may entice a few other traders to come in. All right, see how it's leaning? We got 63 orders, and this should try to make its way up the chain toward the top. The top level is the most current price. This is just below what we were seeing on the Superdome. And you can also see the price levels that they're trying to enter at. You can't see it here because the graphics, it's blue on black, but it's 75.97 half. So anything below that is going to start hitting these orders. All right, there we go. So you can see here's another 64 orders sitting at 75.95. And look at where it bounced. Hit 75.95. Okay, there we go. We're making our way through. We're getting a bit of a sell spike now. 75.93 is where the next pack of orders lie. Here we go, 75.93. Let's see if they can get through there. Then 75.92 3/4. So there's a few orders sitting down there. So far, it looks to me as though they're still leaning more on the short side. There's 77 orders trying to make their way through. Here's 80 orders sitting around 75.92, right where the market bounced. So all of a sudden, somebody set a big order to short right below this bounce. And likewise, if all of a sudden you see it starting to stack very heavily on the buy side, well, then that would be a good reason to bring your stops in, or perhaps just close out the position entirely. We'll stay with it here a little bit longer. Ooh, look at that, 83 orders at 75.92 1/4. So they're starting to stack some orders below this low. Somebody's looking to throw 80 orders 2 ticks below this low. Let's see if they take it. They should. They're still sitting, it looks like, more heavily on the short side. Oh, another pushback. Oh, here they go. Look at that. 84 orders at 75.93. Somebody wants to short this market. Oh, now they're starting to stack a little bit more on the bullish side. Oh, see this? All right, so I'll adjust my stops a little bit, maybe bring them up to around here. So where are they looking to buy? Around 75.99. So if I'm on the other side of 7,600, oh, my profit target is way off. Come on. See, once again, we're fairly balanced there. They're duking it out pretty good here around this whole 75, 95, 96 zone. All right, well, not quite enough follow through. But very often, you will, if you wait for it, like I said, you can see the market lean heavily one way or the other. Relatively neutral right now. But a bit of a window, if you will, behind the scenes. Likewise, now here, if I'm going to get a trend change signal on the Falcon to buy, I would like to see a little bit more bullish activity on the level 2. I don't want to see it leaning heavily on the short side for obvious reasons. And this is true regardless of the tool you're looking at, whether it's the hawk here with that developing first micro macro cross, the hard edge bounce here on the red bar buy, on the eagle, or even the hard edge bounce here that's building on the raptor. Now, as is the case with all tools, you have to spend some time with them. You have to use them to become proficient with it. And they're always relative. To the market, I mean. Like, all these numbers are relative here to the NASDAQ. They won't translate to the E-mini or the Russell or the mid-cap. Well, I don't know. Still fairly even on both sides here of the market. Maybe starting to get a little heavy on the buy side. There's not one single bar, but overall it might be getting a little heavy on the buy. No, spoke too soon. It's evened out. All right, let's see. Do we have a buy signal building anywhere? Well, here on the hawk, we've got a buy. First micro macro cross to buy. Here on the eagle, we have a red bar buy with a second push opportunity. Oh, now they're starting to fade a little bit. Okay, let's do this here on the eagle then. Okay, so I'm going to treat this current bar as my second push off of this red bar buy signal. And I'm basing it because I think it was starting to look a little heavier here on the long side. And it's a demonstration room, so I should try to demonstrate this thing before we leave here today. Here, maybe I'll incorporate this bar right here. Won't make it quite so tight. There we go. See, these are the kinds of things. Oh, no, it flipped right over. Getting some orders, looks like around 74 orders here now on the short side, and they are sitting at around 75.97, just below the hard edge. And somebody has pulled those orders. So, you know, the market very active on this second level. Oh, see there again, somebody throwing in 81 orders now at 75.97. When I say someone, it's a combination of orders. It's not necessarily one trader looking to short, but look at how it's leaning there. All right, so let's take a look what we have. Well, let's bring our short order just below 75.97. I'm sure the Hawk and or Falcon and or Raptor will be giving us another signal, but I don't want to miss this right now, so we'll just stay here with the Eagle. Okay, there it goes, 75.97. Let's see if that trips and what happens if we get some follow through on those orders. Oh, see, they keep pulling them. I wonder if they're trying to spoof us. Now they're at 75.96 3/4, so I'll go 75.96 half. See how I mean how it's leaning here a little bit? The graphic is relatively small. All right, and now they've got some orders, some buy orders sitting at 75.97 half. Okay, let's see if we get some follow through. Good. Ooh, don't want to see that. That's at 75.97 3/4. Here we go. Well, we could see a relatively large move out of this if the market, nope, sorry, measured that wrong, my mistake. Could still be a relatively large move though. All right, I'll throw my profit order down here. Not all the way to our high probability profit objective, but pretty close. I think part of this, what we see going on here today is Friday. It's just Friday. The market made its move early. Now we're just kind of bouncing around a little bit. Not really good for showing this off. You see, they leaned heavily to the short side when we shorted, came down enough for a scalp profit, and then everything just got balanced again. When the level 2 looks like this, where it's fairly even on both sides, you're just going to see the market thrash about a bit. It's not going to have a whole lot of follow through one way or the other. But we can revisit it. Or, like I said, if you like, if you have level 2 in your data, just kind of keep it in the corner and see how it behaves. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised sometimes when you're either in a position and you're wondering, oh dear, should I get out? Should I roll my stops? Or should I hang on? Is there momentum building in my direction? Well, the level 2 kind of answers those questions, or helps answer those questions. See if all of a sudden I saw a big, well, even now we're starting to lean a little bit more to the buy side, so I'll bring my stops in. Good, we're leaning a little bit more here to the short side. It's still pretty balanced though. You'll recognize when the market becomes very lopsided. Believe me, it will be very obvious. You'll get a big spike bar or two, and then everything else will get very, very thin. And then you'll just see it work its way up the ladder, and prices will respond accordingly. Oh, well, almost had it there for a fleeting moment. Yeah, we're getting about 40, 45 orders trying to make their way through. Okay, so now we have the follow through. See how the bars have changed here? And I'm going to jam my stop in very tight. Notice as well, in spite of having the level 2 and all these other things that you may focus on, do you recognize the signal we have here on the eagle? That's right, it's a rule of 3 signal. So the eagle, you know, we saw it coming even without the level 2. See, we got, let me close this out. So we have the 1, 2, 3 counter trend signals, and then the market fell off. Pretty cool, huh? I think so. All right, so there you go. There's your rabbit hole for this Friday. Have fun with that. Like I said, you may well find it very helpful. All right, gang. Does anyone have any other questions before we close things up? Yeah, Ray says very interesting. It is. Like I said, it's kind of like keeping your finger on the pulse of the market. As with all things trading related, it is not 100%. You're going to see the big orders show up on one side or the other and then just disappear because the trading programs, the computers changed their mind because something happened in the price and now all of a sudden they don't like it anymore. But see here, there's 50 some odd orders, which is not huge, but they're making their way through the short side. So if I were still short, that may be an excuse to try to hang on a little bit longer. And let's see if that translates into a move lower now. Oh, or is it starting to shift? See, if they can't fulfill it, if they can't get the market to go lower, it will swing the other way. So now we're starting to see more activity on the buy side. All right, everyone. No questions. We'll button things up for today. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you again on Monday. We'll see you then. Bye for now.